now it's over, Billy Golders. Okay. Okay, so small reminders, guys. Please give a retweet of this Twitter space so more people can join and more people can discover these two projects if they don't know them already. And so you have two EGLD to win from Block team. Very generous team tonight. And for this, you just need to attend this Twitter space, of course, and to ask your questions. And at the end of the space, the team will choose the 3 or 4 most relevant ones. So, Mclem, do you want to introduce our second guests?
Sure, my friend. Sure. Is it Philip? Who's gonna speak?
Good
I will
evening.
be I will be the one making the presentation and answering the question.
All right, all right. So, did you hear the rules sooner?
Yeah, I was asked in the beginning, so I'm aware and I'm
Yeah,
ready to play by the rules.
yeah. But don't be stressed by the bell. You have the time to explain pretty everything. Usually, people have more than enough time. So it's your turn. 5 to 6 minutes. Be as more complete as you want, and to describe everything from Block and from the project. We are all here for you. And once again, I wanna say to everybody, don't be shy. You are here. The project are here for you. We are here for you. Just come and ask your question. We want to hear your voices, and we want to hear big question, and that's the best way to win the present from the both project tonight. So it's yours, my friend. 5 minutes. Make Block shine as much as you can.
Well, thank you very much. So at Blok IMO, first of all, we believe that tokenization would be probably one of the most powerful narrative of the blockchain technology, and even more important to build during this bear market. So our goal is to make real estate investment more accessible with less administration, reduce the fee with the intermediaries, the middlemen, and simplify the management of your properties. So the principle is to provide, in fact, the ownership of the portion of a property in real estate through a different token that would be emitted on the blockchain. So currently we are building everything on Multiverse 6, but we plan to be a cross-chain to attract as much as possible different customers. And also we plan to attract people from the Web 2, taking in consideration that we want to agree with SEPA and Visa payments to be kind of a platform inter, if I can say generational, whatever. So the idea is to create, in fact, a property title divided through different tokens that we call blocks, and that will increase then the liquidity and make the investment more accessible because you don't need to raise a big amount of money, in fact, to make an acquisition. You can join with a pool of investors. So one of the most important aspects that people probably will have in mind, and regarding the question that will come, is the regulation. So we don't offer ownership of the property itself, but we issued bonds, in fact, through the block token that will represent the debt to the investor. So the company will then distribute the property rents in the form of interest on these debts, weekly, monthly. That's something that needs still to be defined. And also the capital gain when there will be, if there is a property sale at the end. So Block estimates a return of investment between 5 and 10% on the property that we acquired. And we plan to have different sourcing channels to find more and better opportunities through some real estate hunters that we have through our different network. Also, a digital growth strategy, let's say, to provide personal people, if they have difficulty to sell on the current market, to sell their own property decentralized on the blockchain to find more easily investor for their properties. So we also partners with big groups like Century 21 and some other that we plan to make partnership with to offer their properties also on the website. That is the one that we consider the more relevant and providing the best yield. Okay. So our ecosystem will work with two tokens. Okay, so we have the Blok token that will be a security token. It's something that we are also currently working to develop on the Multiversix ecosystem. At the moment, it's something that is simulate, let's say, with a smart contract that represents the share of the property. More or less, a token, a block will be 50 euro and represent a share on the property. And after you have the BKT token or ETT token that will more or less provide all the advantages of the platform, so you can stack it. And you can also get some airdrops of the block that will be listed. You can get some advantage prices or some opening, like you can access to the sale in advance. So that will also create some incentive for ecosystem, and also probably providing holidays to win for the owner of BKT. Quickly on the current status, because I think I should have maybe a minute. The current status on the roadmap. So we are currently on the private sales. So we will close it soon. So if you want to jump on the boat for the private sale, it's the right time. Currently, we deployed 2 months ago, the stacking pool, so that the private investor can stack the BKT that they have to already receive rewards. We have soon coming the listing of the first property. So the idea would be to we'll present it really soon. Everything is almost ready to launch the platform and to start to receive people investing their money. We will take the USDC, e-gold, and euro also with SEPA transfer. And after that, we have the ICO. So we are less advanced, let's say, with NFTs, but we have two collection of NFT, one block and one silver, that will give you access to the first private round of ICO. So the gold for the first one, the silver for the second one. And there will be a private ICO probably on the launchpad coming in the following time. So I will thank you all for listening and opening for questions.
Yeah. Oh, you still have 1 minute, my friend. So.
Sorry, I thought it was 5. Sorry. Okay. So regarding the development,
Actually,
like I said.
no, I was just sorry to interrupt, but you it's not necessary for you to finish the 5 minutes, because with the questions and the answers, we will be able to dive into different parts. But yeah, you can of course continue, but don't feel obliged to, bro, as you wish, really.
I'm not being obliged. I think I covered most of the aspects. So like I say, we will, to make a resume, so we will provide the tokenization of real estate. So the idea is to cut the property in different tokens, like you can see on some other solution that are not present in Europe. Then we will emit bond for people to invest in this property, and we will pay benefits out of it on a weekly basis, probably. The interest of that is to be capable to diversify your portfolio, not having only USDC, USDT, but having something that has a legal value, because that's something that we work quite hard, is like to have the legal framework that is properly set up to secure, in fact, our investors. For example, us, when you want to invest in a property, you also need to sign a contract that will be also a proof and something that will cover you as an investor. So we try to create the bridge between Web 2 and Web 3. And we really think that if you want to have a blockchain that is taken seriously, you need to develop securities. That's something that we are working on. And also be capable to provide a more, let's say, normal way to put your money on. And even more if you want to attract, let's say, non-aficionados of the blockchain. Because I think a lot of people would be happy to be capable to invest in real estate, let's say 100, 200 euros. And
Thanks, my friend.
And we hope to have everyone on board with the team to make this mission possible.
Thanks a lot.
One last thing that I didn't say also, we want also to create, that will be probably end of the year, beginning of next year, the capacity to take the blocks that you bought, in fact, and to get some lending and borrowing over them. So to be able to use them as collateral to either invest in some other property or use it to get some liquidity. The interest, we can afford to do that because the price of the block will be bound, in fact, to the price of the property. We reevaluate the price of the bond every year, but it's kind of a stable coin, if I could say it like that. Perfect.
Thanks a lot, my friend. It was complete and very 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 precise. Me, I'm living in Canada, so will it be only for French user in France with all the regulation? You have to face a lot in the business, or could it be a worldwide services?
That's let's say that's a disadvantage and advantage of doing it in Europe. Currently, it's one of the most regulated area if you want to do that kind of business. So I will not I will not like affirm it at 100% because I'm not a lawyer. We can see that with our lawyer for Canada, but I know that if we agree with the regulation in France and de facto in Europe, because that will be applied in the entire Europe, we'll be capable to make the same montage everywhere in the world.
Thanks. How many properties do you have acquired since now?
At the moment, we don't have any properties. We have the first one coming probably next week on the market when people can start to buy their first blocks. And because we are an investment platform, the idea right now, I mean, again, it's a starting, maybe in the future that will be different. But the idea, we are a financing platform, so we would like to put people together to make a financement. We don't want, especially Block, to be the only one taking the risk at this point. I mean, it's not our objective to own all the properties and to sell the block to make a business out of it. Our idea is to be able to invest the money of users. So they can place their money in something different than what crypto is usually capable to offer.
Okay, thanks a lot. For me, it was very precise, but I have a little question in mind. Your point is to make investors getting like harvest from what they lend to the project. Is it maybe could you have in mind a Airbnb style of business where every holders and every investors in Block can enjoy the place you are acquiring, or it will never be an option for you?
No, it's definitely on the to-do list, if I can say, because we want also to provide holidays, apartments and houses, let's say housing. Because we want also that our owner of BKT that are stacking their BKT can get some holidays for free. So we will have in the future some of his apartments, but we put them to rent on some platform or for with a third party manager, depending on the situation and maybe on different aspects. But at the end, we plan to have different kind of investment possible. So it could be apartment for renting, for students, could be apartment for families, could be offices for open offices for people, could be I'll say raise money from the community to open a sense for fit gyms somewhere because people think it could be interesting to have it here. I mean that's the interest in fact of Block. That means that we are doing an investment platform, and we want also to provide the possibility to people to raise their money on their own. So kind of a Kickstarter if you want, even if real estate is our main thing and it's what we want to put forward from far. At the end, in the mechanism, we want to, for example, if I want to buy an apartment, let's say I find even an apartment, I would like to be able to put it on the platform. To instead of going to the bank to ask for the money, I prefer to take it for part of the community.
Thanks for the answer, my friend. Jerem, I don't know if you have someone. I think someone asked for a question.
I have a questions, bro. Of course.
Yeah, you always have a question. I'm sure of it, and a good one.
Oh well, yes. Because hello, Philip. I hope you're well. By the way, so
Yes.
yeah, maybe I have one question. It will be. Can you just do a short summarize about the different digital assets that you will issue? So you have the block token, you have the BKT token, and let me know if I'm wrong, but you will also have NFT, block NFTs. So in short, can you tell us what's the difference between them and what are their like main utilities? And if someone wants to enter to invest in your project, maybe they will ask, okay, I don't know what to buy. So can you tell us about it, please?
Sure. So let's say exactly we have three kind of tokens. So we have the BKG, the blocks, and the NFTs. Okay. So the BKG is a utility token. So it's the one that we sell during the private. That's the one that we will sell during the ICO. It's a utility token, like every other token that you can find on the ecosystem, more or less. That can be on an exchange. That can also be stacked. That can also be lent. You can do everything you want out of it. The idea of our ecosystem with the BKG is to provide the capacity to people to stack it and to get benefits depending on their level of stacking. So, for example, I mean, I don't have the number right now, and I'm sure we didn't make the decision yet at 100%, so we'll not engage anything. But the idea is like, depending on your level of BKG, you will have access to some airdrops of blocks. So a certain percentage of the property will be airdropped to the owner of BKG that is stacked. You can also win holidays on the holidays apartments. You can win also airdrop of BKG, part of something that will be burned on the marketplace, because we want also to have a marketplace to sell and buy your blocks. I can come back later on that. But yeah, so the idea of the BKG really is a utility token, and its value is based more or less on the performance of the block company, the block group of the application. The block itself is a security token, okay, that represents bonds. So security token means technically for everyone, but it cannot be on an exchange. I mean, it's really harder to so you need to have KYC to own them. You need to have a list, for example, as block group, we need to have a list of who owning them and at which moment, at any moment, we need to be able to provide a list. So that's a security token. It represents a fraction of the property. Okay. And this one, like I said, the price is kind of stable. So we will have the capacity, in fact, to use this token for everything that is defined, like lending, borrowing, to buy more block, for example, or to get liquidity. And the idea for this block that you own on your wallet every week or every month, that's something that we still need to decide again. We will distribute, in fact, the rent to the owner of the BKG, depending on this specific APR. Because the block, in fact, is linked to an apartment. And if an apartment have a problem, so we have insurances and all these things. But for example, if a block need to be paid back by an insurance because the apartment blow up, I don't know, whatsoever, you will receive the money back from the bonds because it's insured. But yeah, the block represents the property itself. And then we have the NFTs. The NFTs have the capacity to give you access to the private phase of the ICO. So the gold NFT, you can access to the first round of ICO, the silver NFT to the second round. Okay. And also on addition to that, so you have the normal one and the VIP one. So you have VIP gold and gold, VIP silver and silver. And each of them give you different benefits over the platform that are crossed with the one from the BKG, more or less. So if I can come back to resume, we have the BKG, that is a utility token that we use over the platform that you can use to buy properties with some advantageous prices, less fees, and all these things, getting airdrop and benefits. The blocks to represent the property itself and the investment, and the NFTs that we give you. It's kind of a pass. I mean, it's a utility NFTs if you want, that give you access to space to in advance to the listing and some other advantages.
Okay.
I think you have more detail on the website, and if you want more detail on that.
No, I think
Maybe
it's
we can drop it.
I think it's not bad, and like I commented your white paper on the comment section if people want to know more about these different digital assets. But thank you very much, Philip. Now it's, I think, more clear for everyone. So because we have a lot of written questions and also people here that want to ask question, I don't have any more question by my side. So yeah, we will let AD7 ask its question. Hello and welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the presentation. It was really interesting for both of the projects. So, you have a question for your project in particular, Philippe, and the whole team. So I wanted to know how are you planning on distributing the yield, the rent of the apartment? So are you going to use the blockchain and distribute it directly via the wallets, via cryptocurrencies such as USDT, USDC, for example? Are you going to let us choose which token we want to be paid with? Or will there be an option to be paid directly via bank transfer, for example? So thank you again for the presentation and the whole space.
Thanks a lot for the question. That's a great question indeed. So the idea, in fact, of the sale, so you can buy with BKG, that's not a problem. USDC also, and like I said, SEPA transfer, and we want to put Visa. And for the payment of the rent, it will be also something similar. So we want to put the capacity for people from Web3 to be paid directly on their wallets. So we are currently putting up on-off ramp with one of our partners to simplify that, because we need to get the rent from the tenant, transfer it into crypto, and pay the crypto to the different wallets. So that will be definitely probably the first step that we will achieve. And in the meantime, we will also have the capacity to people to be paid directly in euro, because some of our investors will be from the Web 2 and will pay with euro, and they will reclaim the payment in euro. So it's something that maybe will not be available immediately on the platform, on the DApp, that you can click and access it. But if it's something for you that is relevant for your investment, we can probably put that on side manually for the moment.
Okay, that's very clear. Thank you.
Thank you very much, AD7. Greedy Gorder. So Karim, yeah, you have a question?
Yes, a quick one. So thanks for the presentation, pretty clear. But the question is regarding your business model. Do you plan to always work with properties that you own, or will it be in the future something with properties that you do not own? Like you said, for example, for vacancy, holidays, etc., with the NFTs hold, will you have only partnership with a hotel or Airbnb places, or will you own those places and include multiple businesses inside?
I mean, at the moment, we just plan to own them, so we don't. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm not, okay. It's something that we didn't discuss, to be honest. Yes, we discussed it, but at the moment, if you want to own, in fact, part of a property and generate bonds out of them, it's a little complex to get the approval, I think, from the other party owning the property. So at the moment, it will be probably us owning the property entirely and putting it on the platform. We don't plan also at the moment. It's not on our project to buy and then sell the blocks. We would like I said, to have investors with us for that, even if we have to fill up the rest to reach the threshold. But at the moment, no, we plan to buy the property with the community and to be 100% owner of them. But like I said, I mean, for example, we would like to have the possibility to private, to invest, to, for example, if I want to buy a house, again, I take me as an example, I would like to be able to put it on the platform. And at that moment, Blok will not be owning any of them. And I would be owning most part because I would have brought the liquidity. I mean, the thing is like Blok Group will own part of the property, let's say, because we buy them continuously, probably under the floor price. I mean, that's something that we probably do continuously to resell them also above the floor price because it's a stable coin, like we said. And yeah, then this mechanism will be closed. Then we probably have a vote at the end if people want to sell the property at a certain price, depending on if they want to get out or not. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah. Super clear. It gives me a great view of what you are planning. Thanks again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Philip, for this answer and Karim for the question. Now we have Alban. Hello, Alban. Welcome back.
Yeah, hello. Thanks a lot. Thanks for the presentations. That's quite interesting. I wanted to ask, compared with a classic real estate investment, what do you expect the yield to be for holders in your case? Do you expect to offer better yield than a classic real estate market or in line?
To be entirely honest, I think we will be between 5 and 8, 10%, maybe on the best offer. But I think between 5 and 8 would be a good estimation of the yield.
Okay, so that's slightly higher, I would say, than the average classic real estate investment, right?
After, don't forget, there is taxes at the end. Huh?
Yeah, and that's obviously a question as well. Is it the tax is the same as for a real estate investment, or is it's NFT tax?
That depends where is your source of revenue. So if you invest with euro, it will be the same regulation that with normal bonds and dividends. So I think it's a flat depending on where you are. But if you are French, the flat tax at 30%. It's 30%, I guess. And same if you go with euro. I mean, with the USDC. But basically, if you buy with USDC, you're supposed to declare this USDC to have been sold out, to have been sold. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's how do you say that? It's a taxable event, if I can say it like that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We at A7, if you don't mind, I will first read the questions written, and at the end, if we have time, I will let you ask your second question, so we can have more people to participate. So Alban, you wrote 4 questions. So same. I will ask Tam, using BKT tokens, will I be able to rent a place or on your platform for holidays in fiat? I think it's the same question as Karim, so that's okay. So we have a question from Ved. How the legal team will work with the real estate processes, as it's a matter of loans and deed, how the buyer can trust the legal team will make no mistake. How can you ensure the buyers can trust there will be no problem in further if arise? So yeah, what's about the legal side of the project? Can you tell us more, Philippe?
Sure. I would like to say first that legal is probably our first cost of expense at the moment. So it's I understand the concern about that point. And thanks for people to asking the question that I can answer in more detail than the 5 minutes. So the idea, in fact, is like I say, you don't own a part of the property with a token. That's just not possible today. Okay, that's why we create a bond. We create a bond, in fact, that represents the investment that have been done on this property. Us, on our side, what's happening when we acquire a property, we open a company, in fact, that will own this property, that will take the management, that will have a bank account to pay the taxes, the fees, to receive the rent of the different tenants, and this entity have a bond with the people, if I'm not wrong. No, sorry. It's not my special. So let me just check one second. I don't want to say something wrong, so I will just check my little graph. So yeah. So the idea, Blok Group create the bond, in fact, and the money is taken by the company that owns the property. Okay. When you take the bonds, so when you buy the block itself, you also have to sign a contract. So it's something that we implement with an SDK on you sign, totally digital, and this contract have also a legal value. And that prove that in fact we have to pay a certain yield over a certain amount of money that have been borrowed to us. So that's why also it takes us some time to do that properly. It's like we are currently implementing the Web 2 and Web 3 at the same time, because we need to have them both to make it legal. But we have all the technical solution that will be in place when the regulation will be more evolved, to have the 100% directly on the blockchain and use them as a proof. But at the moment, we have a contract. So if you buy the blocks, you will have to sign a contract that binds you directly.
Okay, Philippe, we can't hear you. Amsterdam, can you hear Philippe, or it's just me?
No, no, it has
Sorry?
cut. We
No,
haven't
because
heard the last phrase.
there was a problem, Philippe. Can you just repeat the last sentence, because there were
Yeah. I was saying that okay. So just to resume,
You were
we have
saying
Blok
that
Group. Okay.
the buyer will sign a contract between the buyer and the company that
And Blok.
owns the. No, it's with Blok or with the company that owns the property.
Let me check. Pierre, le contrat est signé avec Blok ou avec la compagnie qui possède le bien?
Pierre,
Pierre?
il faut que tu actives ton micro.
Ouais, pardon. C'est Blok SMD qui est un SPV qui signe le contrat avec les utilisateurs.
Donc avec la
C'est pas
société
Blok Group, c'est ça?
qui a
On a
acheté le bien.
Blok Group qui détient. On a Blok Group qui détient Blok SMD et Blok SMD, donc c'est ce qu'on appelle un SPV, c'est un véhicule de financement. C'est lui qui va émettre les obligations.
Et il y en aura un à chaque
So far.
propriété, c'est ça?
Voilà, il y
Yes.
aura des tranches d'obligations qui seront émises par propriété, et chaque tranche d'obligation fera l'objet d'une hypothèque auprès de la masse pour garantir le paiement, et d'un nantissement sur les revenus générés pour assurer que les investisseurs soient payés.
So I guess it was clearer like that. So for the English speaker, so the contract is signed with the company that owns the property and generate a bond, in fact, that is binding with Blok Group also to repay the yield and the bond at the end of the activities.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Philip, for this. And obviously, if some of you has maybe question or maybe wants to go even deeper, I'm sure you will be welcome on the Discord, and you can have a call or a private chat with a team member to know more about the compliance part of the project. We have another question from Shuki. Will Blok project work with local real estate agencies? As you said, you directly work with the property developers, but what do you think about commercial assets and household asset balance in real estate blockchain, like in ratio in the future term? And this is something that you want to answer, Philip?
I mean, I'm not sure how, to be honest. So the idea is like our main objective is to be capable to ensure the yield. That's our main, let's say, from the real estate point of view and from an investment point of view, that's the most important for us because we are forced to pay it. So in this term, we don't really decide in advance saying that kind of property or that kind of property, but we're doing depending on the yield and depending on the opportunity of the market. So that's why it's hard for us to commit or to say anything regarding the type of property that we would like to buy, because we don't want to buy property if the opportunity is not a good one. That's also a way for us, and that's a good way, in fact, to increase our network, to work with locals and little less locals companies or things that sell properties, in fact, to give us another way, another channel to raise the money. So at the moment, the first one will be an apartment. I mean, probably you can give more details in the coming days. Will be an apartment. After, if we take offices and things and place for holidays, it would be probably with a local advisor, local partners that's also skin in the game, if I can say.
Okay, and by answering this, you also answered Zad's question about which kind of building is the first Blok project, but you just answered this. So we have a last written question for blocks. Can you precise and detail why you propose bonds instead of actions? I think it's a question that many people, I think, ask themselves.
Est-ce que je peux faire la réponse et tu traduis, Philippe? C'est la différence entre les bonds et les actions?
Ouais, pourquoi est-ce qu'on fait des bonds et pas des actions?
Alors, je suis désolé, hein, sorry for my English, but it's so bad and I prefer to speak French. It's better for this. La différence entre les actions et les obligations, Jérém, ça te dérange pas si je parle français?
Bah, c'est pas grave, seulement à la condition que soit Philippe, soit moi traduisions de façon
Ouais,
compréhensible.
ouais,
Philippe, tu le fais?
Je m'en occupe, t'inquiète.
Allez, vas-y,
Ok.
ça marche.
En gros, on n'est pas parti sur le modèle des actions puisque il y a différentes choses qui effectivement nous ont fait choisir les obligations. La première, c'est que quand on revend des parts d'une société qui détient de l'immobilier, c'est qu'on est soumis à des droits d'enregistrement qui sont de 5% avec un minimum de 25 euros. Cette partie-là, nous, sur des blocs à 50 euros, ça aurait été complètement idiot qu'il y ait 25 euros de frais sur le marché secondaire.
Can
Ça,
you
c'était la première chose.
translate, Philip, like every sentence, or
So,
so you don't have to?
maybe
Thank you.
yeah. So the first part, we continue after. So the first part why we are doing bond instead of normal actions is like if you resell actions. So with all the technical language, maybe I don't have for it. But if you resell, in fact, the action from a company, you will be subject to a tax of 25 euro minimum, so 5% of what you sell, or 25 euro minimum. The thing is, like, if we have a token that is 50 euro, it will be totally stupid to when you sell the token at 50 euro, that is a stable coin, like I said, but you have to pay 25 euros. So that's why we have been through the bonds to provide more liquidity and less taxes in this regard. Cool.
Voilà. Les autres éléments qui nous ont fait plutôt partir sur les obligations, c'est qu'il y a un risque de requalification en fonds d'investissement alternatif qui est beaucoup plus important que sur de l'obligation. Donc ça, c'était la deuxième chose. Tu peux traduire.
Also, another thing is like regarding the regulation. If we are doing through actions, there is a big chance that we are that the regulation change and that we are. C'est quoi que tu as dit déjà?
Qu'il y a un risque de requalification en fonds d'investissement alternatif.
Yeah, that there is a risk to be requalified as an investment fund, an alternative investment fund. I don't know if that will be
c'est ça.
meaning anything for people.
C'est ça. Et puis il y a deux autres éléments. Le troisième du coup, c'est que quand on paye des actionnaires d'une société, on verse des dividendes. Et que verser des dividendes, puisque nous on compte verser les loyers toutes les semaines, verser des dividendes avant l'arrêté des comptes, ça demande de l'administratif assez poussé. Et effectivement, voilà, ça faisait partie de pourquoi est-ce qu'on n'a pas choisi, c'est qu'il aurait fallu arrêter les comptes toutes les semaines pour verser des dividendes en avance. Donc ça a fait partie effectivement de ce qui nous a poussé à faire. Et le quatrième élément, rapidement.
The third point was also that if it's action, we have to provide dividends and not a payment on other benefits like on the bonds. And the thing is, like, if we want to provide dividends, usually you do it once in a year because you have to make a fiscal resume of what you currently own and what you earn to pay your investors. While with bond, in fact, we can do it every week and be able to pay the rent every week without doing this really expensive and time costing activity.
Voilà. Et le dernier sujet, c'est que c'est un projet, nous, qu'on a co-construit avec la communauté. On en a interrogé, j'ai fait pas mal d'entretiens, environ une quarantaine d'heures d'entretien avec des utilisateurs de la communauté. Et en fait, ce qu'on s'est rendu compte, c'est que la notion de propriété, entre guillemets, sur des investissements à partir de 50 euros, on va même être en dessous de 10 000 euros d'investissement. La notion de propriété, elle n'avait pas d'importance. Ce qui comptait, c'était plutôt de placer son argent sur des actifs financiers qui étaient backés par de l'immobilier. Donc voilà, mis bout à bout, on a fait le choix plutôt de partir sur des obligations plutôt que sur des actions. Les deux modèles existent. Je pense pas qu'il faille les opposer. Voilà, je pense que ce serait éventuellement des cibles différentes.
Okay. Okay. So the last part, please. The last part was also about the feedback that we get from the different users and the private investor that we had at the beginning, that as we are talking about 50 euro of investment and probably less than 20K for the biggest one, the concept of property was not really the main attractivity for these people, but to have the security of the yield and the benefits of their investment was more important for them. Also, getting more flexibility to get in and out was more valuable for them, and that's what people are looking for with Web3 and blockchain technology. So that's where we are aiming.
Thank you very much. We have another question, and that's, in my opinion, very interesting. What happens if you don't sell enough blocks during the ICO to finance your investments?
So during the ICO, it will be BKT. So that will be the utility token. The block will be set during the listing. So we have some partners that are capable to cover some of the cost of the property. But for sure, if we sell 0% of the block, or let's say 5% of the block, we will give back the money to the different investors and cancel the property. I mean, that's why we have some flexibility with partners, so we don't need to reach 100%. But for sure, if we reach 2%, we will cancel the sale and give back the money to the investors.
Okay, and what about the DAO implemented in your project? Are only people from Block Deal Club would have access to it, or maybe people from other groups, or everybody? So what's the DAO part of the project?
So we have different ideas for the DEO. I mean, I think a lot of projects include that in their idea, and it takes time to implement at the end because you need to have the community and the means to create the will to vote. But the idea is to be able to, so at different level for the block owner to have a DAO also to see how to manage the property. Stupidly, if you have a renovation, if you to paint the wall in certain color, if you want to resell the property or not, if you want to put it on Airbnb or rent it, that's something that we can put directly in the hand of the investors. That could be nice. I think that everyone can take part, even more if you invest a lot and you have more skill in the game. So that's one of the aspects of the DAO. The second one that we want to have is with the BKT itself. And this one, in fact, would be capable to, so with the vote of the people putting BKT on the stacking pool, we want the capacity to redirect some flux of tokens. So let's, sorry?
Les flux, c'est flows.
Sorry. Some flows of tokens. Thank you. Some flows of tokens. And to balance or to create an incentive, let me picture it a little. So let's say, for example, that you have a lot of different properties. Some of them are really rentable, some are less rentable. The idea is like we have probably a little fees on all of them. That will be a part of the block DApp fees. And this part of these fees will be allocated to a pool where the different owner of the BKT will be capable to distribute to some owner of the blocks. So, for example, they can decide to distribute it to a certain collection, either to create incentive over this collection or either to overvaluate it in case of problem. For example, if we don't have a tenant and it's a variable yield, they can put that, for example, to redistribute the value just to this one. It's something that we can do on our own, in fact, to rebalance a little the yield of everyone, but it's something that can be also put in the hand of the community. And the same after, if the community is big enough, again, we can have the capacity for them to vote for the different property that we want to put on the platform. I mean, we can create a lot of gamification around that kind of choices to create a way for people to have more impact on their investment, to direct their investment in some places that they like, in some area that they like, for example, whatsoever, and be capable to take their holidays in this specific place with their own BKT. I mean, step by step, brick by bricks, we want to bring there, to go there. On the first lane, the DAO will be for the choices on what's happening on the property. If you want to make a vote for sale, for example, if you want to sell or not. And then after that, we'll be with the BKT and what to do with the pool of benefits if you want to redistribute them, keep them for themselves, or burn it directly on the market.
Okay, very interesting. So we'll have a last question from AD7. Let's go, bro.
Thank you again. So yes, I have a question about the whole buying flow of Blok. So from the beginning of the listing to the moment I receive my first rent, how much time will I have to wait?
So quickly, the process to buy a block. You go on the DApp, you do the KYC. After you select the amount of block that you want to buy, you sign the contract for the sale. You make the payment either through the blockchain directly to the smart contract or by SEPA payment, and we allocate the block on our site. So that's the payment phase. Regarding the payment of the rent, that will depend on two things. First of all, what kind of yield we do. So either we do a fixed one. So either we fix the yield all over the years and you will receive that all over the year, but it's, for example, when we calculate the rent that we receive, we consider that the tenant will pay like 10 and a half months per year. That's just a security. For example, if we do stuff with students, you have always a room that is empty for 1 month for summer, and there is a rolling of people, so you always consider that. So either you make a flexible yield and maybe it's full all year long and you get a better yield, but you will have zero the time that we find a tenant, or you will have a fixed yield and that will be paid directly at the signature of the contract or at the payment of the bill. I mean, so there's two mechanisms. We don't know which one to implement. Maybe the flexible could be more interesting for everyone. You can get more and there's less risk for us. The fixed one is also nice. So yeah. If it's flexible, that will depend on the amount of money that's coming from the rent and the tenant. If it's a fixed yield, it will be directly at the payment of the week after, probably when the sale is finished, when we reach 100%.
Okay, thank you. But that was really interesting. But I was talking about the. You said earlier that you don't buy the buildings before a sort of crowdfunding, if I'm right. So, how much time will the crowdfunding will take, and how much time will you take to sign the contract to buy the building?
Philippe, we can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, my internet cut it again. I just switched to 5G.
No problem. Go ahead.
Can you repeat your question? So I didn't hear that at all.
Well, if I can help, maybe. So the question is, what is the timeline before the beginning of the crowdfunding, the fundraising, and the purchase of the property? Is it right, Ade?
It's right after.
Perfect.
It's right after. So when we propose, so it's the case of the first one at least, and probably the few next that will follow after that. We have already an option for buying this property at the specific price that we are trying to raise, including also the taxes and the different renovation that we want to do on the property. But the idea when we reach the threshold for us, so. The amount plus more or less what we can put directly from our pockets, we directly buy the property immediately. And after, if you have turned
and just to ask another question related to this one. So I think how can you be sure that the property is still available? I mean, if the fundraising takes 1 month or maybe 2, so how can you be sure that the property is still available?
But we have agreement with the sellers.
Okay, so like it's a contract
nous, en gros,
or...
ouais, sur le cheminement, en gros, nous, on signe le compromis de vente et on lève les sous à partir du moment où on a signé le compromis
Et
de vente.
combien de temps t'as pour lever les fonds? Parce que je crois que c'est vraiment ça la question en fait de AD. C'est vraiment sur la timeline. Vous avez combien de temps pour les lever? Il y a un délai ou...
Alors, ouais, tout à fait. Ça dépend effectivement des conditions qui sont libres. C'est un contrat entre deux personnes. Donc, il y a un minimum de 30 jours, par exemple, s'il y a un crédit bancaire. Ça, c'est obligatoire. Mais après, ça peut être étendu à 45, 60 jours, 90 jours. Enfin, voilà, ça, c'est une discussion avec les vendeurs.
Okay, so Philippe, can you translate?
Yes. So it's like I was saying, Pierre. I mean that depends definitely on who is selling the apartment. We don't have there's no limitation. There's a minimum depending on the regulation, but there is no limit on the amount of time. Like we say, we have a lot of partners that are interested with our solution for investments, so they are not that picky on that to give us some chances. The idea is a negotiation that we have. So on the mechanism, we find the property, we sign the compromise of selling. Then we raise the money. So depending on the contract, we can have 30 days, 40 days, 60 days, 90 days, and to raise the money. And when we raise the money directly, when we have it, we buy the property immediately and distribute the block to the users.
Thank you very much, Philip, for
And
this
after that,
answer.
and,
Thank you very
yeah,
much.
and after that, we distribute the rent.
Thank you very much. I think we're okay for the English part of this Twitter space, and it was very, very interesting. I hope you learned a lot about these two projects. So as agreed, we'll have like a 10 minutes in French if you guys want. So if someone wants to take the floor to ask a question in French. Donc si à partir de maintenant l'un d'entre vous souhaite poser une question en français, n'hésitez pas à lever la main si c'est plus facile pour vous. Y a aucun souci et la réponse se fera évidemment aussi en français. On va se laisser 5-10 minutes pour cette partie-là. Et donc voilà, merci en tout cas, parce que maintenant on va parler un peu français. Merci à vous deux en tout cas pour toutes ces questions. Vous avez vu, c'est un exercice qui est pas facile parce que les questions s'enchaînent, mais en même temps, ça fait quand même pas mal d'amas que vous faites. C'est pas le premier, je crois que j'en ai fait un avec vous.
Ouais, alors
vas-y.
Je crois que Philippe, c'est un des premiers qui fait en anglais.
Et c'est pas mal, franchement. Ouais, on dirait qu'il est rompu à l'exercice.
Moi j'aime bien.
Bon, je suis désolé, mon niveau d'anglais est terriblement mauvais. Et Pierre Maffre, qui parle beaucoup mieux que moi, et effectivement qui connaît parfaitement l'ensemble des aspects du projet, va à un Euros événement qui doit arriver incessamment sous peu. Et du coup, il n'a pas pu venir.
Non, mais en tout cas, Philippe s'en est très très bien sorti.
Oui, s'en est très très bien sorti.
Donc
merci.
Donc c'est très bien et c'est très bien. Bon alors, il semblerait que ça se bouscule pas au portillon non utilisé depuis 94 quand même. Ça se bouscule pas au portillon pour poser des questions en français. Donc c'est peut-être parce que eh bien ces francophones ont réussi à trouver leur bonheur en anglais, grâce notamment à Twitter qui traduit les réponses. Mais en tout cas, voilà. Écoutez, en tout cas, on va repasser en anglais pour dire au revoir, puisque la majorité de l'audience est quand même en anglais. So we will speak English again because actually French-speaking people already have their answers in English, so that's fine. I would like to thank everybody for being here tonight, for all your questions. We had more than 30 questions in the comment section, so thank you very much. Like all Wednesday, we will choose the most relevant questions at the end of the space or tomorrow in the morning, because it's already almost 10 p.m. here. But we will announce the winners tomorrow in the morning. And so I will let the final words to our two guests, and also to my brother Amsterdam. Maybe Amsterdam, you want to say something about the two projects? What do you think? What are you bullish on? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the two project was very very complete in every explanation. So people ask a lot of questions. Was really cool. Maybe we could have a lot more people speaking, but we had two soldier who was there to speak and to ask question directly. So AD7 and Subic, excuse for your name, but
call him Alban.
Alban was there too. So it was really great, and bravo for the French effort or English effort. It was a special AMA. So if you don't speak one of those two languages, sometimes it must have been funny. So but it was really cool. So thanks a lot for the effort. And yes, sometimes it could be difficult to speak in English fluently, and it was really great that you make it. And I don't know if we have some last word from every two project. So take the chance to remind everybody about your project in a real quick way, and what do they have to do, and what do they have to know in this last time you speak in the AMA. So it's your turn, my friend.
Go greedy.
So first of all, I wanted to thank you, MZDM and GRM, to allow us to explain our project again in this space. So thank you very much. And I wanted also to thank all the people that asked us questions. So don't hesitate to contact us. Ask a lot of questions, because it's because of you and thanks to you that we see new things, new use cases or problems that we didn't raise. And this is thanks to you, the community, that we build something that is tailored for all of you. So each question that you have, don't hesitate to ask it on DM, by Twitter, in Discord, or everywhere. Just ping us, and we will be proud to answer to you and give you all the feedbacks. And one last word is don't hesitate to play to our game that is live. You can win a gold bar. Someone won one today. So you can earn gold bar just by playing a game, having fun. You can play to the game everywhere on mobile without downloading everything. So that's it for me, and thanks again.
Thank you very much, Karim, for these last words, and good luck for the upcoming mint and the second phase of your project. Philippe?
Yeah, so I will try to say goodbye without copying him too much. So thanks everyone. Thanks Jerem and your brother for the invitation. It was great to be there with you tonight and to share about the project and to listen to the community and their different question and interrogation. Like he said, also we are always open to discussions. So if you want to reach to us, you can either come on our Discord through Twitter and through Telegram. I mean, you will have people from our team that will be capable to answer your question or to redirect you where you need. Regarding the next action on our side, like I say, we are currently on the private sale. So if you want to jump on the boat, it's still the right moment. It will not be open for long, I guess. And next week, we probably put our first listing. So you don't forget to follow Blok on Twitter to have the last news and the first moment to be capable to invest on the first real estate property on Multiverse X. And yeah, happy to be there. Thanks for all your questions. Looking forward to discuss with you and exchange with you in the next MAA soon. And yeah, thanks a lot. And I wish you a great evening to everyone. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot to everybody. It was really great. Jerem, do we know the
Yes, we do.
our guest for next week?
Absolutely. I knew that you would ask the question, so I went to our calendar. And so, yeah, next week we'll have 5 tunes